Thank you, Mandy. I'm going to have to raise this up a little bit, though. Good morning, everybody. What a beautiful day. I think Eddie's team's already working for us. We could be here yesterday standing in the rain, but here we are on a beautiful day in front of the Capitol. So for those of you that don't know me, my name's Oliver Bardwell. I'm the founder of Iowans for Freedom and the host of the Oliver Bardwell podcast. And I've had the honor of standing on the front lines with Representative Eddie Andrews. Through lockdowns, mandates, and censorship and chaos, Eddie was there. For the small business owner, for the nurse, for Iowa parents and Iowa children, Eddie was there. In fact, there's a saying that we've all come to know and love, and it's, Eddie is everywhere. How many of you have heard that? Gary's Tractor has nothing on Eddie. Get on Eddie's Facebook page. Some say that he might have a twin brother, but I don't believe that. I think it's just all his hard work. But the truth is, and what makes this happen, is no one works harder than Eddie Andrews. He's knocked thousands of doors. He's always the last one in the room, and he's the first one to lift someone up. I know because the night I lost my race for the Iowa House, I was sitting alone, sipping a good bourbon, and letting the weight of it sink in when my phone rang. And it was Eddie Andrews. He said, "Man, I'm so proud of you." He said, "I know you ran a great race." He said, "You worked so hard and you ran such a positive campaign. Now that you've built the foundation, you run again and you'll win." That one call meant the world to me. That night, Eddie reminded me that it wasn't a setback, it was a step forward. But it's more than that. Eddie is a bridge builder. In a world that's tearing itself apart, Eddie brings people together. His own marriage is a bridge between two people with different political worldviews, yet united by love, faith, and a shared heart of service. And I don't know if many of you realize it, but Eddie never wanted to be a politician. He ran the first time because it was personal, because he saw families like his own falling through the cracks in the mental health system. And instead of waiting for someone else to fix it, like the great Isaiah, he said, "Here I am, Lord, send me." And God sent him, and here he is with us today. That same heart, compassionate and courageous, is what makes Eddie the one who can win. You know, it's not hard to win for a Republican in a red district, but Eddie wins in one of the toughest districts in Iowa over and over and over again. We have a lot of great conservative candidates with strong values, but Eddie doesn't just share those many strong values. He knows how to reach across the lines, and he brings people in. He wins over moderates and independents, and even some Democrats. Some opponents are running on an image, pretending to be a moderate, backed by billionaire in-laws, but Eddie wins with heart, with trust, and with the people. So I won't spoil what he's about to share with you today, but I do want to say this. We don't need more politicians. We need more shepherds. Leaders. Yeah. Leaders who know the name of their neighbors, who are willing to knock on every door, who pray before they speak, and who have the courage to lead without fear. And in a race that will decide the future of this great state, we need someone who doesn't just share our values, but someone who can win. And that's Eddie Andrews. That's the kind of leader that Iowa needs. So thank you, Representative Andrews, for stepping up and taking on this challenge. Thank all of you for coming out and supporting him, and God bless you. And God bless the great state of Iowa.
Woo, thank you, Oliver. Friends, today is more than just a gathering. It's a moment of momentum and a turning point. Because today we stand with a leader who has never shied away from doing what's right, no matter what. No matter how hard, no matter how high the stakes. He's a father, a husband, a man of faith, a public servant who understands the heart of Iowa because he lives it every day. From protecting parental rights and championing mental health reform to standing firm for our freedoms and values, he's been a relentless advocate for real solutions. As your state representative, he's fought to make government more transparent, more accountable, and more responsive to you, the people. He's shown that leadership isn't about titles or talking points, it's about service, courage, and deep conviction to do what's right, even when it's not easy. And now he's ready to take that leadership to the next level. So today, with great excitement and deep respect, I have the honor of introducing a bold conservative, a principled voice, and a proven fighter for the people of Iowa. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the next governor of Iowa, Representative Eddie Andrews.
Wow. Thank you, guys. First of all, let me just say I am blown away. Thank you guys wow. Thank you guys so much. I'm about to do something that I know is going to shock everybody. Hang on, guys. Thank you. I am so excited. I cannot believe the crowd. I should just say, this is the greatest crowd ever. The first thing I want to say, thank God. Thank God for all he has done and all the help that you guys. Thank you to the speakers. Shanna, you are amazing. I told her one time she's using her superpowers for good, and that's all of us have some sort of superpower. Oh my goodness, good to see you, Esperance. And she is using her superpowers for good. Thank you to Oliver. I think Oliver wrote the best speech in the entire world. I could just say nothing. We were having a little bit of technical problems, so I'm reading this on this instead of this. So my apologies. There are a lot of people here who know me, but there are some people who are watching online who don't know me. So please give me just a few moments, maybe a minute or two, to kind of introduce myself. My name is Eddie Andrews. I grew up about 15 blocks from here in a loving home. I see my sister somewhere. Yes, back there, Jackie. And I think I saw my brother David somewhere. And I think I see my niece. So I see some of my family. We grew up in a great family. My mom was a contender for the nicest woman in the world. Top 10, at least. My dad taught us scriptures. We learned the foundation. We went to church down the street where we learned principles of faith and service. I thought every family served. I thought every family made sure that the elderlies had their lawn mowed and the snow shoveled, because that's just what we were. I call that, in our campaign, people first. In other words, a servant's heart. Went to school at the University of Iowa, became an engineer. Hey. Did a little bit of grad work at Iowa State, just saying. There you go. There you go, both sides. Became a techie, tech entrepreneur, also got some religious credentials, studied, became a co-pastor of a Hispanic church for about, a decade and a half. I see Israel here. His dad is doing a great work there. And I've always been in public service from the time I was at East High Student Government President. Community service was my goal, but I never thought I'd be in public service this way until, Oliver mentioned, heartbreak and pain, and we saw the holes in different systems, and I thought, well, I don't see anybody else fixing it, and it needs to be fixed. So I jumped both feet in, and with effectively no money, we were outspent 6-1, and hard work and a lot of prayer and a lot of direction, we unseated an incumbent and won not once in a purple district, not 2 times, but 3 times in a seat that is blue. Married to a wonderful woman, as Oliver mentioned, 35, 40% of people in Iowa, married couples, we don't share the same party, interestingly enough, but we work together when we can, and sometimes we can't, right? It's just the real struggle. But we've made it work. Now, I just want to say a few things about my service. One of the things that I have worked on over the last 5 years, the first thing that I worked on was mental health. The second thing was autism. And that's a lot to me. I saw Caleb somewhere. Where are you at, Caleb? Caleb worked with us on some of our autism bills, and we got House File 5 through this year, a big, huge bill. Thank you, Caleb. And I fought for the things that are conservative, the First Amendment. By the way, who in the world in 2025 thought we'd have to fight for the First Amendment? Like, for real? Freedom of speech? The Second Amendment, of course. The 10th Amendment, of course. We fought for landowner rights. We were on the front line of medical freedom when people who were trusted sources were bending the truth for political purposes. We didn't back down. There's too much time. Somebody said, well, Eddie, are you going to talk about all your policies? This is not a policy speech. We don't have 30 minutes and a sit-down dinner. But I do want to mention 2 or 3 things that I want to work on. Education. Education. When I was a kid, close to 100 years ago, Iowa was number 1 consistently. If we slipped that year, we were number 3. And we need to focus on what got us to number 1 and refocus our attention on equipping teachers, equipping every school of every kind, whether that's public school, public charter schools, non-private and non-public and private schools, home schools. We need to equip all of our children with the tools necessary to educate them and get our state back to number 1. Now, we are in the metro area, but I got to tell you, one of the things that I've led on over the last few minutes or last 4 years has been landowner property rights. There's a rumor that I take pictures from time to time, and I looked at my camera this morning. Hey, how you doing, sir? Good to see you. And I saw that I had 45 pictures, 45 different days that I was with the landowners. What that means to me is that I've been in that fight for a long, long time. And I got to tell you, this may not resonate so much with the metro crowd, but people in rural Iowa are fighting for their lives not to be bullied by people with money. And I am on the landowner's side. I have chosen a side. It's the Constitution and landowner rights. That may have cost me a check or 2. Did I say I was outspent 6-1 and still won? Thank you. One other thing that I want to mention. Oh my goodness. This is what happens when you get a little bit nervous. One of the things that you can't unsee is human trafficking. This was not on my list of to-do things. You know, those nice little pretty palm cards that you send out. This was not on my list of things to do, but once you see human trafficking and things that are unconscionable, 4-year-olds, 5-year-olds, things done to them, chained to beds, all of these things that are happening here in Iowa, we went to work. And in my administration, we will destroy human trafficking in Iowa. And there's this thing called property taxes. I heard the groans. Okay, look, this system has got to change. And quite honestly, it's not going to change unless you have a governor willing to push this. And in my administration, we're going to do everything to break that existing system, eliminate them, push them in the bushes so we can all stop renting our homes. And you know why I know it's rent? Because if you don't pay it, guess what? Somebody's going to show up and knock you out with the U-Haul. And I don't know if you know this or not, but there is a secret, there's a rumor that's going on that I have an announcement today. And so with all those things and many more that you will hear about in a policy speech coming up forward, I, Eddie Andrews, after sincere prayer, we began the week before, that's right, before the governor announced that she's not running. One of the people that's here, I won't mention their name, we got together in the rotunda and we decided we were going to pray about Eddie Andrews running for governor. It did not make sense because at that time the governor was running. She had a campaign manager. She had just hired a finance director. She had $3 or $4 or $5 million in the bank. Of course she's running. But we got together and we said we're going to pray about running for governor. And so with that in mind, after sincere prayer, after discussions with family, after more prayer and discussions with friends, I, Eddie Andrews, am announcing my candidacy for governor of the great state of Iowa. Thank you. Thank you. And with your help, we're going to make Iowa even better than it's ever been. Let me just say this. In closing, I wrote this great speech that I can't even read. This is amazing. I want everyone to get excited. This is going to be a mandate on money. I want to challenge everyone here to see if we can really and truly have a ground up campaign. Ironically, 3 years ago, I started this discussion in the Iowa House. It hasn't made it out yet, but I filed a couple of bills to get money out of politics. I saw it's not nearly, thank goodness, it's not nearly as bad as Washington, but I saw the things that money was doing and how it was influencing people, and I filed 2 different bills to address money in politics. And now all the professionals say, well, Eddie, what are you going to do? How are you going to raise $10 million? Notice they didn't ask me what my policies were, what my plans were, what my passion is. Let me tell you, this crowd here understands what's at stake. And I bet you guys over $10 or $20 million. Thank you. God bless you. I am done with this speech, and I am looking forward to meeting every Iowan. Last thing I want to say is there was a poll taken before I announced. I'm already in second place, and half the state doesn't even know me yet. We can't wait to see what happens. God bless you. God bless America.
Everyone, thank you so much for coming out and showing your support today. There's a table headed that way. If you all would be willing to sign the petitions to get Eddie officially on the ballot, that would be amazing. Thanks for showing up. Have a blessed day.
Let's get going, people.